All right, y'all. This is another episode. Welcome back to another episode of Old Charlee Please, where it's faith first, shade second. If this is your first time listening, hi, hello, welcome. I appreciate you for listening. If you've been here before, whew, thank you for sticking beside me. Thank you for sticking beside me. If you do not know, I can't talk today. Oh, Charlee Please is on all listening platforms. It's Spotify, Apple, iHeart, Amazon Music, Overcast, YouTube, and we are now on Audible, y'all. Your girl is on Audible. So when you get through listening to that audio book and you need something else to listen to me. Make sure y'all are following on your preferred listening platforms and leave comments. I want to know what y'all think about today's episode, okay? Um, I'm gonna do a mental health check-in on myself, okay? I gotta do it. So if y'all did not notice, I did not record an episode last week. My life has been goddamn lifing, y'all. It has been lifing, okay? When I say everything that could possibly go wrong, and I'm saying this is first world problems. Let me say that there's nothing to my detriment that has made me want to give up on life and like nothing is not recoverable or anything. But do know there's a lot of shit that has been going on in my life. And I'll keep it brief and let y'all know what's going on. First of all, let me tell you how I had to pay $2,400 for a brand new radiator in my truck. Now, I'm not mad because my Durango, I bought it brand new 10 years ago. So it's kind of like this is the wear and tear part of things, right? So can a bitch be mad? No. But am I mad? Yes, because if y'all don't know, I'm in the middle of still trying to move. Okay, and even that within itself is a headache. Let me tell y'all, I had to lease another apartment. Another one. But the third apartment is the charm, okay? Y'all know the first apartment was like Amityville Horror. Told them people, fuck no, not moving in here. Gave them back them fucking keys. The second apartment, I had to wait on them to clean up and finish. When I tell y'all this, don't judge me. So, I'm nosy by nature, okay? Went to that second apartment, y'all. Opened up the door because the door was unlocked on the property. Went in there and I was fucking mortified. I was mortified because the tenant before me, their food was still in the refrigerator. And this was on a Thursday. They were giving me the key on a Saturday. Okay? So it's like I can't unsee what I have seen. On top of the bathrooms was filthy. It was dirty in there. Even if they got somebody to come in there and scrub the floors and wash it out, I was like, I can't unsee it. So I ended up passing on that apartment. I went to another apartment complex and I'm satisfied with what I have now. So, yeah. On top of all of that, y'all, why did I break my big toe? This past Thursday, I'm in my house, gallivanting around, fucked around, tripped over my own foot. I broke the fall because I fell on my hands and knees, but my big toe on my left foot went way back. It overextended. And I just thought it was hurt, so I didn't really pay attention to it. But when I could not sleep with my comforter on top of me comfortably on that toe, I said, yeah, I need to go see about this. So I made an appointment with the urgent care. Got there, they did x-rays, and they was like, girl, yeah. They said it was fractured, but then it's urgent care, and I'm dealing with a nurse practitioner, so this ain't her area of expertise. This is why you have to follow up with your specialist. So follow up with the specialist today. They did more x-rays, and they was like, yeah, Miss Crump, that toe is broke. So I don't have to do a cast or anything. They're buddy wrapping it. I have a boot on my foot. I look like Wayne Head. If y'all remember that cartoon, Wayne Head. I'm showing my age a little bit. So I got a shoe and I'll be in that shoe for the next 4 to 6 weeks. Go me. And it's cold as fuck outside. So I gotta like double up on socks on that little foot. And the last thing that happened, y'all know it's cold here in Texas. So I have a fireplace in my current apartment, and I was like, anytime I could use it to not cut the heat on, I'm gonna do it. And that's what I did. But tell me why I almost burnt the fucking apartment down because I put too many fire starters in there. On the phone, running my mouth, wasn't paying attention to what the fuck I had going on, y'all. Put too many in that bitch. And the flame was a little wild. I ain't gonna hold you. That motherfucker was outside of the fireplace. And I said, you know what? This is not a time to panic. This is not the time to, you know, it wasn't the time to act like a rich white woman and scream. So I cracked open the doors a little bit. You can't feed too much oxygen to a fire, but I wanted to let out the burn smell. So I did that. And, yeah, fun stuff. But in all of this, we thank God. We thank God for Jesus. I will say, I do feel like somebody praying on my downfall. I do feel like somebody got my voodoo doll shaking chicken bones over that bitch. And they doing a seance with candles and saying, God, please don't let this bitch make it. At least that's what I feel like. But neither here nor there. Neither here nor there. Okay? So there's that. Yeah. The other thing is, unless you've been living on the rock in this book community, you know I have not been present nowhere. Except on like Facebook and Substack. But I have deleted the socials off my phone. I have been taking my break. I have been enjoying my break. But baby, when I tell you, the book streets have been calling. The book streets have been calling. And I will say this. I thank God for Jesus because my fear was if I walked away for too long, people would forget and I would have to build the momentum up again for my platforms and kind of show who I am and what I do and all that. But Saturday evening, I started getting calls and emails left and right. And I'm not even playing, y'all. And they was like, hey, Charlee, know you on break, girl, but we need you to do a thing. Hey, Charlee, loving what you and Refined Ratchet got going on over there. We need y'all to do a thing. So, not that I need validation or recognition because that don't move my needle over here. But I will say it is very dope that people still pulling your number even when you ain't very visible. And I'm forever grateful for that. I can't wait to show y'all what myself and Nisha got coming up solo and collectively between the two of us. And I'm just, I break time over. The party's over. I gotta get back on my Zoom. The girl said it's time to get back on my Zoom. And I like the whole, hey, are you available type energy. So I have enjoyed my time to rest and regroup and to get my thoughts and my feelings in order about some things. And thank y'all. So once again, the hiatus is over. I was told to get my fat ass back to work. And I'm glad just like people didn't move on. You know what I'm saying? And that is a testament of what's for you will be for you. And people will find you when they need you. So I just appreciate the fact that I didn't have to beg. I didn't have to announce a return. I'm not chasing nothing. It just says, hey, the work that I've already put in, that we've put in, is speaking for me. And the North remembers. Yeah. So, yeah. Jesus Christ. So what I want to talk about today, in my absence, I have been told that, some things have gone down in Chinatown in the book community. Now I wasn't there in real time, but I will say that, and I will continue to say, Threads is a cesspool of bullshit. Threads in this community, and probably other ones, I can only speak to this one, is a cesspool of bullshit. And if you want to keep your sanity, if you want to not be involved in said bullshit, I advise people to not join Threads at all. Or if you're going to join Threads, tread lightly. Okay? I just feel like on Threads, everybody is yelling. Nobody is listening. Everybody got, a think piece. Everybody feel like they're morally superior, and everybody is tired. Um, and I would say before I left, I had come to the conclusion that Threads has been the platform to house Agents of Chaos. It's a lot of throwing the rocks and hiding of the hands. It's a lot of I heards and they saids. And it don't feel like community anymore. Threads legit feel like a group chat from hell with Wi-Fi. And I have made the decision that, when I do come back, because I was thinking about deleting Threads, but I was just like, I've got to the point where I don't need it to do anything. I've tested like my algorithm and stuff with links and stuff, and some people click and some people don't, but that's neither here nor there. But when I do fully return, I'm going to make Threads my information hub. I'm going to drop what needs to be dropped and keep it pushing. I don't want to engage in the madness. I don't want to be a part of every conversation, every situation that's happening on there. So, yeah. Threads ain't where it's at. Not in this community. Oh, my bad. I gotta make sure the mic on. Threads ain't where it's at, and I tell anybody that if you want to stay positive and have a positive outlook on things, especially in the indie part of the Black book community, I wouldn't advise nobody to join over there. Them, and I'm not absolving of the bullshit some of the bullshit that has gone down on Threads, but I'm in my course correction era. I'm in my I know better, so I do better era. So that's why I'm at with that. Speaking of Threads and the things that I found out about, we were talking about they were talking about, the book box and the book boxes and the book community. And, how can I say this to be honest and truthful, but to tread lightly with tact? I will say this. Book boxes are slowly becoming the bane of our existence. And I want to shout out Celine White for her very necessary breakdown of book boxes and the unrealistic expectation that we have about them. Celine White is on Substack. She has a great article. And her last name is spelled Whyte. And you got to look at this book box situation from all sides. And I'm not going to call out one author or none of that. I'm not here for that. I will say this. As an author and a small business owner, you have a responsibility to understand your operation and the capacity of which you can operate in. You know that you have to write, promote, and market a book all on its own. You know that you are a one-woman or a one-man show. You have to understand that outside of doing what you do as an author, there you have a lot of life to live in between that. With all that being said, you know the capacity in which you can handle when it comes to handling business outside of you writing, okay? We understand that life happens. We understand that situations become unfortunate, but it gets to a point that you have to be an honest business owner outside of being an author, right? And I get that you can set the expectation like, oh, book boxes won't be here or won't be available for 12 to 16 weeks. So we know that's 3 to 4 months. And people say, okay, we're going to check the box and we're willing to wait. But when you get beyond the first month of the desired expectation, you got to be real about some shit. Now, I get that, y'all are great about communicating. Oh, I'm still working. Box is going to be out. Yada, yada, yada. Cool. Great. Understand it. But there is no reason, absolutely no reason, someone should be waiting on a book box for 6 months. There is no reason that somebody should be waiting on a book box for 6 months when your expectation for your consumer was 12 to 16 weeks. And granted, we get that life happens and shit get wonky and all that. But if you know that you're the only person that's ordering, packing, and shipping said orders, you have to make a conscious decision on what you can handle at your capacity. Do not open up your pre-orders and let almost 500 to 1,000 people order said pre-ordered book boxes, and you know you can't fulfill that. I'm going to say this, and I'm going to let y'all into my business a little bit. So when I was a small business owner, I had an online e-commerce store for accessories, shoes, and bags, right? And I was a one-woman show. I was the operations, I was logistics, I was the customer service manager, I was the shipping, I was all of those things. Now I never did the pre-order business because I was just too scared about that. I got to have products in hand before I put it on my site. I understood that I was doing this by myself. Now, my friends were great at coming and helping when they could, but essentially this is my business. There is no way I would allow myself to take on, in my apartment at that, I would take on 1,000 orders knowing I got to do 1,000 orders by myself. I would not take people's money knowing that I couldn't deliver a product neither. Sorry, not sorry. The other thing in business you have to understand is that you got to calculate your losses first before you calculate your profits. And I think that's where a lot of people get it messed up. They start looking at the potential of the money they earn. Oh, I got 100 of these. I'm going to sell them at 20 a pop. My profit should be this. That ain't how that work. What I would do with my small business, say I got necklaces. I got 100 necklaces, right? I would only put 80 of those necklaces on my website. And that would give me a 20 necklace buffer because somebody's shit gonna get lost. Somebody's shit gonna get damaged. Somebody's gonna want to exchange, right? And so when all of that happens, I got enough in reserve and on tuck to do that. And it just made life easier. I never oversold on a product. If I can only do 80 necklaces, I'm only putting 80 on the website. I capped that. And it's a way with certain websites that you use for e-commerce that you can set your SKU numbers and your inventory and all that so you don't oversell. Once it's gone, it's gone. I think what's happening with these book boxes, though, with this pre-order business is that you're getting money for the pre-order to buy the materials to go in the box for said pre-order. And a lot of this stuff don't come from the same place. You might get stickers from here, Kindle inserts from here, merch from here. The only thing you may really have as an author is the book. So that within itself is a headache because you got to wait on all this shit to come in. You get all this shit, so now you got to separate all the shit and put all the shit in a box. You put all of it in the box. Now you got to tape the box up and slap the shipping label on it. Once you do that, you got to take it to whoever you ship through. And that is a lot for one person because you do not have a team. But why would you allow yourself or your brand or your shop to take on that many orders knowing that you by yourself? That don't make sense. At least not to me, it don't make sense. So like I said, I heard about the discourse that happened. And I get life happen for a lot of people, life just be unkind when you trying to do a thing. And I think we done lost the plot on that. So come 2027, I honestly want to see all the book boxes disappear. I think it's time. I think, or if authors are going to do book boxes, especially for those in a series, just include the books, or at least have an option for just the books, and then do an option for books and trinkets and merch and all that, and set realistic expectations for yourself. If you know you can't handle over 100 orders, don't do it. You know your capacity. You know you still want to live a little life and you got other stuff going on in your life. So I'm sorry. That's just me on my soapbox. I won't stay here longer. And as a matter of fact, I'm moving on right now. So this one directed towards one person. This was just directed towards anybody in this industry that's providing a service or a product. Be realistic about what you can do. Okay. The other thing that I heard about that has happened in the community during my hiatus and my absence is authors and the AI accusations. Apparently, there was an author called out first about the AI accusations, saying that this particular author uses AI to enhance her book or to write books faster or to come up with plots and storylines and all that good jazz. And I will say, first of all, those are damning accusations. If you're gonna accuse somebody of not presenting great work, you gotta show that proof. You can't just be talking out here all willy nilly. And I'm not here to defend nobody, but that is a pretty damning accusation. That ain't cool. Now this author said, hey, the only AI I use is like Grammarly, Pro Aid Writing. I'm not really sure this is a writing tool. I use Grammarly. I'm in grad school, and baby, it does wonders. It will make a sentence make so much more sense. But I guess they're saying she's using things like ChatGPT and all those other things. And I mean, I got the screenshots and I just kind of shook my head and I was just like, man, it gets to a motherfucking point. It gets to a motherfucking point. And it makes you feel like, are we actually protecting creativity or are we just enjoying a public witch hunt? Because this really does a lot of damage to somebody's brand, especially an indie author. At some point, we have to start acting like we care about the people behind the books. Now, let me say this. If Miss Girl or whoever else is using AI to crank these books out, shame on you. That is not okay. Now, AI covers, I get the budget be low, you got to do it, but like, don't be getting ChatGPT to develop your whole story. If you typing in, I want to make a story or a book about a man falling in love with a woman who's a single mother who grew up during tough economic times and got a tragic family background. And ChatGPT that spit it out your whole goddamn book, now that ain't okay. Now, if you running something through chat for grammar corrections, okay, cool, which chat don't always get that right neither. I'd be scared of that. I never use ChatGPT for that. But it's really one of those things you just kind of like, if you're doing it, stop. And if you can't prove that somebody's doing it, stop. It goes both ways. So, yeah, say no to AI when writing your book. And if you need help writing, get you some developmental editing. That you can pay people for that. If your story ain't strong, if the plot ain't strong, if the ending don't make sense, if the climax ain't hit the peak, get you a good editor that will help you with that. There are humans that do that for you. You don't have to use AI, okay? Don't do that. What else? Okay, let's lighten the mood a little bit. I have noticed that I've so many episodes in and I ain't even like, this supposed to be like talking about books and stuff, and I don't even tell y'all about the damn books I'm reading. So let me tell you what I have been getting into. Missionary with the Menace by Bunny Blanco. Now I'm new to her. I just got to this lady's house. She actually just dropped the 3rd installment, which I got to get into. But baby, it is good. Missionary with a Menace by Bunny Blanco. It is on Kindle. It is a good read. It is intrigued. And for this to be a new to me author, Bunny did her big with this one. I gotta hit that back catalog because I'm really wondering what else she done did over there. I know she has some book called Come Get Your Clothes Out My House or something like that. And it's still in my Kindle. It's on my, of course, it's on my never ending TBR, but I ain't went over there yet. But baby, the way I was rubbing my feet together reading this series, the first 2 books, and can't wait to get into that 3rd one. Miss Bunny Blanco, yes God. So I'm getting into that. Another book that I'm reading is, or I read was, We Said No Feelings by Miss Libra Clark. Um, and her name is spelled Ms. MZ Libra Leebra, and Clark is Clarke. This was a quick little 1-2-1-2 read for me. Woo, baby. It was good. This was the FMC standing on business. Okay. Um, it was a cute story. It was one of them feel good stories that started off kind of unorthodox. But when you get into it, it is good. And the way it ended, oh my God. I said, oh yes, ma'am. She has a second book to this installment as well that I need to go download it. But she has a second book to that. Let me see if I can find it on Kindle right quick. So I can give y'all the name of that one. Hold on. Ms. Libra Clark. Libra, there it is. What is this one called? It's called Midnight in Philly, between ATL and Philly. That's the second installment. And I can't wait. I can't wait. I always tell people I know a book is good to me when I leave a review. I made sure I left that review. Yes, I did. I sure did. I sure did. So make sure y'all check those two books out. The other thing that I'm reading, I'll give y'all one more, is it's another new. I got a lot of new to me authors in here. Her name is Janae Ellis, and it's called I Never Got Over You. And it's like a road to redemption story. Like, you know how it's, I think, well, at least I think it's one of those, I gotta get that old thing back type thing. And this is going to be a series. This is book 1 of the Browns and Crowns Complexions. So, and it's 420 pages. So I can't wait to deep dive into this one. So it's Janae Ellis, Jaena Ellis. And she's a new self-published indie author born and raised in the South with a deep passion for Black romance filled with emotion and connection and drama. And it says over the past few years, she has discovered her love of words to create heartfelt stories and breathe life into unforgettable characters. As she continues to refine her craft, she invites readers to join her on the journey. So, yeah, I have been enjoying the new authors. I really, really have been. And I can't wait to see what 2026. I feel like 2026 is going to birth a whole new brand of indie authors, new authors, and I can't wait. So, yeah. What else? Oh, culture check-in. Now, I know by now y'all have seen that Druski skits of him talking about the mega churches amongst our people, Black people. I will say this. In my eye, Druski can do no wrong. Druski can do no motherfucking wrong. That man sat there and dissected mega churches on a whole nother level. It was kind of like he held up a mirror to some of the shenanigans that go on in these mega churches. And I would like to classify Druski as a modern day sociologist or anthropologist because he gets it right every time. You can tell he sits and he just studies people. Like, I remember he did the skit about the football mom. He did that good. He did the airport good. Oh, the one he did about NASCAR and rednecks. Baby, chef's fucking kiss. So, I love that Druski tells the truth in a way that's so pure that you laugh before you realize that you getting dragged. And because he makes it funny, it makes it digestible. And of course, you know, it's some people in the church like, oh, he shouldn't have did that. You're making a mockery of God. But Druski pulled out the receipts. He's like, no, Michael Todd was in a Christian Dior blazer with the 3 platinum and diamond chains around his neck. Another pastor was the one that descended from the ceiling of his church. There's other pastors that's rolling up in the phantom telling the members to get away from their car, and they ain't gonna pray for them because they ain't paid tithes this week. So if we calling things things, Druski did what y'all have already done. He didn't make this up. He pulled from what y'all have done, and y'all don't like it. So yeah, y'all got to follow up off Big Druski. Now the Golden Globes was last week. I will say this. When it comes to these award shows and black people, I think for the better part of 10, 15 years now, I have gone on with the expectation if we do win something that we so deserve to win, it's shocking. So let me just say, I'm not shocked that Sinners was snubbed. Now, the one thing that Sinners did win, they won like best box office or whatever. But Michael B. Jordan did not win for best male actor, and Ryan Coogler did not win best director. So didn't sit right with me, but hey, the game is the game, and it's gonna be what it's gonna be. But Tiana Taylor did win best supporting actress, and I do love that for her. There are no notes on that. It's well deserved. Tiana has been through a lot publicly with that divorce and that man. She had another man in Aaron Pierre, Mr. Mufasa. But they said they are no longer a thing. But she is continuing to win. And not just literally, but figuratively as well. So I love the fact that Tiana is really just she's in her soft girl era. She's in her winning season. And TT, I love this for you, my baby. I really, really do. Now we on y'all, I feel like every time I'm on here, I'm talking about some Memphis shit. But I'm a Memphis girl, so whatever, right? Hardly ever home, but always repping. So if y'all don't know, Pooh Shiesty got out of jail. From my understanding, he's here in Dallas. He's chosen to be here in Dallas as a place he resides. I have found it funny that Pooh Shiesty has not publicly connected with Gucci Mane. You know, he is an artist on his 1017 label. Which I think that label at this point, it got an omen on it because people either end up dead or in jail. But that's neither here nor there. But Pooh came home, connected with Glorilla, Big 30, and some other people, and they saying Pooh ain't fucking with Gucci. And word on the curb is allegedly Pooh is looking to sign with Yo Gotti's label CMG. They said and the deal is on the upwards of $10 million. Now, again, that's alleged. I don't know how true that is. I ain't seen no source. I ain't heard no paperwork. And they're saying Pooh wants to break away from the 1017 label because I didn't know. Okay, so Gucci had an artist by the name of Big Scar. Big Scar is from Memphis as well. Big Scar OD'd last year before last, and this happened while Pooh was in jail. I did not know that Pooh and Big Scar are cousins in some capacity. I don't know if it's by blood or by familiarity. But anyway, you know, when we call you our cousin, goddamn, you our cousin. When Big Scar died, I know it was a whole thing around his death that the family was asking Gucci to pay for the funeral. His sister got on live and was like, you know, this was your artist. You need to do something for him. He made you a lot of money. Gucci said he sent $10,000. The sister said that $10,000 on to pay for the fucking flowers. And now it's being said that after Scar's death, Gucci called and asked for his chains back, the 1017 chains. Again, this is all alleged. I don't know how true that is. And they said that did not sit right with Pooh Shiesty. And when he got out of jail, he was like, yeah, I ain't fucking with that Gucci because that's whole shit. So, and I'm paraphrasing, right? The best way I know how. So if that's the case, what's going on with Gucci and all that, I really do hate that. Now, oh ho 101. If Pooh Shiesty does sign with Yo Gotti CMG label, that's gonna be interesting because if you are a true Southern hip hop rap fan, you know that Gucci and Gotti had a song Bricks, all white bricks. So at one point they were making music together. A young lady by the name of Keisha Kayor dated Yo Gotti first. Keisha Kayor is now the wife of Gucci Mane. Now, it's alleged that that's why Gucci and Gotti fell out. We'll never know the story. And at this point, so much time has passed in between that it shouldn't matter. But they made it, I mean, they ain't made it known publicly, but I mean, if you know that Gucci and Gotti don't fuck with each other like that. They made Bricks. It was an anthem for the summer. We loved it, and they ain't made shit else since then. So, there's that. Before I get out of here, I got one last thing I want to discuss, and it's heavy, but it's necessary. So if you do not know the name Rashana Landfair, you must have been living on the rock for the past 10-20 years. Rashana Landfair is the first R. Kelly accuser. She was the young lady on the tape that brought those charges against R. Kelly. Okay. I'm bringing her name up because she has a book that is coming out on February the 3rd called Who's Watching Shorty? And Rashana Landfair is like 35, 36 at this point in time of her life. And for so long, she did not have a voice in any of this. We got to remember, she was 14 when all this happened, when she was on the tape. They delayed the trial for like 6 years, and she didn't even get a chance to testify. I think the family went off to Italy or something and stayed over there. It's a whole bunch of shit that didn't happen in between then. And that is the niece of Sparkle, R&B single Sparkle, who was signed to R. Kelly at one point in time. They made the song Be Careful. And Rashana Landfair is Sparkle's niece. And that is her sister's daughter. And we've heard the story throughout the years that, it was the young girl on tape. He urinated on her. He did some unthinkable acts, and she was a child. He got these charges brought up against him. That charges was dropped. And then years later, Surviving R. Kelly came out. Her name came up again. And she's never had a chance to tell her story. So I'm really interested to see what this documentary is honestly going to, not documentary, what this book is going to entail. Now, it is on Kindle, but it's not on Kindle Unlimited. She's going to have a hardcover, and it's going to be on audio. I think I'm going to buy the hardcover, and I want to listen to the book as well on audio. So I'm going to be doing all the things to make sure I'm tuned in. And I'm going to report back here to y'all. And we will talk about this book on this podcast, because I watched that Surviving R. Kelly documentary series, or that docuseries, and I was floored. I was really fucking floored. So that's going to be interesting. I hope when people do read the book, they go in without judgment, because again, this was a child. She was a child when all this happened, and she hadn't had a chance to tell her story. I will say that I think her parents are whack as fuck for letting her endure all that, and they remain connected with this man years later. I'm just saying. Whew. All right, y'all. We are at the 40-minute mark. Shit, you see what happened when I took a week off? Just be yapping. So if this episode felt a little all over the place, it's because that's where I am right now in life. Y'all know it's never polished over here. It's only honesty. But I promise I'll take a break like that again. I tried to produce for y'all last week, but maybe, like I said, life had whooped my ass and kicked my ass with both feet. But we here now. So I want to thank you all for listening. Thank you for rocking with me. Thank you for giving me the space to show up exactly as I know how. Again, you can listen to Oh Charlee Please on Spotify, Apple, iHeart, Amazon Music, Overcast, YouTube, and Audible. Again, make sure you are following me on those platforms, and make sure you are leaving comments, because I want to engage with you. I want to keep these conversations going. Before I go, if y'all tag me on the socials, y'all gonna notice there's a change. And I'll tell y'all here first because y'all listening. My moniker Plot Twist Charlee is no more. I have officially changed my name to Oh Charlee Please. So if you are going to tag me in anything, you're gonna have to tag me on Threads, IG, um, TikTok, and Substack at Oh Charlee Please. And y'all heard that here first. I haven't made an official announcement yet. I was waiting till I came officially back to the socials, but yeah. And I'll listen. I'll get into why I did the whole thing of the name change and all that. I've been doing a lot of reflecting over here, so make sure y'all are following Oh Charlee Please. Plot Twist Charlee is no more. So yeah. But I do love y'all. I thank y'all. I appreciate y'all. And I cannot wait to spend more time with y'all. Thank y'all again. I'm out and we will talk next episode. Bye, y'all.